maybe late 2021, early 2022, we will get to a point where we see the average selling price be very shy of $1 million, even I would say most likely at $1 million. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition where I break down the Toronto real estate market reports on a monthly basis and get to you the most important facts that I think you should know and illuminate some of the trends I've been discussing and introduce some new trends. This one's for the month of October. You can feel free to watch all the other ones I've done in the past months, and let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. You can find my contact information in the description box. Get in touch with me if you have any questions. Many people have been getting in touch with me with their questions. Buyers, sellers, tenants, landlords. If you have any, don't be afraid, get in touch. And as always, please subscribe. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. It really does help. If you don't like the video, do the opposite. Give a thumbs down and give me your feedback on the results of this market report that I'm going to break down. Tell me if you have any questions in the comments as well. Anyways, let's get started with the report, shall we? One of the things I have been talking about is the decline in condo prices. I started talking about this earlier than most people. I wasn't the first, but I would like to toot my own horn and say, yes, I was one of the first, at least on YouTube and social media. And finally, we see a dip in prices, not year over year to be exact, but month to month. But in future reports around December, January, February, we will see a dip in year over year as well. So the average selling price of a condo in the city of Toronto, not the GTA, but the municipality of Toronto, was $668,000, right? Last month, the month of September, the average price for a condo across all condo types in the city of Toronto was $686,000. So this is a big month-to-month dip. Other years in the past years, maybe it would dip a bit, but not to this extent. And we are once again seeing the ramping up of the decline of condos, specifically in the city of Toronto. Condos, for instance, in the GTA at large, maybe Richmond Hill, are doing a bit better, but in central locations such as the city of Toronto, they're not doing that good, especially downtown. There was a 25% increase in the total residential transaction. We went from 8,400 in October of 2019 to 10,500 in October of 2020. This 25% increase in total transactions is actually, in my frank opinion, where it relates to freehold properties, is a sign of a hot market, and where it relates to condominiums, especially condominium apartments, is a sign of a struggling market. The number of transactions in and of by itself is not a sign of a healthy market. For instance, think of it like this. If you have a furniture store that's going out of business, and you put a out of business sale where everything is 80% off, you're probably gonna have record numbers of transactions that month, but people are buying it for 80% off. You're not even breaking even, you're losing money. But given the fact that we had 10,000 transactions, I would say this is probably a very healthy indicator, because most of this, the bulk of this, has to be residential freehold homes, detached, semi-detached, and all indicators that I will go through, I have been going through, and we will discuss today, in conjunction with this, indicate that the residential freehold market is very hot, as I've discussed in the past. But as this relates, because this is just all residential transactions, right? As this relates to condos, once again, it is not a good sign. The condo transactions did go up, but once again, think of the going out of business analogy. Now, that's just an analogy. It's not as dire as the going out of business, right? Not everyone is losing money on the selling side of condos. Just know, though, the average price has dipped, as we discussed previously, and I will continue to discuss. Speaking of average selling price, let's talk about the average selling price across all property types, across all regions. Year over year, the average selling price increased 13%, going from $851 to $968,000. Once again, as I've said in the past, I think in the coming years, maybe late 2021, early 2022, we will get to a point where we see the average selling price be very shy of $1 million, even I would say most likely at $1 million. Let's go through the listing figures. Now, take a look at this. Once again, we can break it down in two ways that I think are very congruent with one another. They're not mutually exclusive. Total number of listings, meaning products on the market for sale, increased from 13,000 to 17,000. That is a 36.4% increase, right? As I mentioned, we can think of this one of two ways. Number one, I think one of the reasons we've seen such an increase in the number of listings is because it is a seller-friendly market. Basic microeconomics. When prices of goods go up, people on the selling side, the producing side, the vendors will naturally want to produce more goods. So taking that basic concept in microeconomics and applying it to real estate, when homeowners see the prices of their good, their property go up, naturally they're more inclined to potentially list it for sale. So that's one explanation as to why there's so many listings, rather a large increase in the number of listings year over year. Another explanation that, once again, I think is congruent with this explanation, not at odds whatsoever, is people on the condo side of things. This condominium owner, as we've discussed on the channel with all of my other videos, there were record number of listings for condos because people were trying to offload their condos because either they were experiencing a negative cash flow, they can no longer afford to stay on their condo, and all the reasons we've discussed in the past as to why there's a oversupply of condos. That also adds up to this larger figure of why there are so many listings and so many additional listings year over year. Part of this has to do with a very hot residential freehold market and a, once again, struggling condo market for sellers. Let's go to the next figure that I think illustrates this latter point a bit further, wherein we look at sales to new listing ratios, which according to this latest report is at -6%. This is not the best news because this metric indicates how many properties are sold per how many are on the market for sale. So last October, you can think of it like this: 65 properties sold per 100 properties on the market for sale. This year, it was down 6%. It was 59 properties sold per 100 properties on the market for sale. And this, I feel confident in also saying, has to do with the struggling condo market. Once again, we see record gaps between how many condos are actually selling versus how many are on market for sale. Whereas with residential freehold properties, this is not the case. Per 12,000 properties listed for sale, 11,000 of them will go. Those are just hypothetical figures, but what I'm trying to say is the discrepancy is very small. So I would say it's the condos that's weighing down the sales to new listings ratio metric that we're looking at right now. Anyways, that's a general rundown of the stats that I think you should know, the market trends, as well as my analysis of them. Please feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. It would mean a lot. Check out the previous editions of this series as well. Get in touch with me if you have any questions. My Instagram, my email, and my phone number are in the description. Thank you.